Welcome to Obscured Reality with Mark and Stephanie. From UFO sightings to the lost city of Atlantis, from alien encounters to the living dead, each episode will leave you questioning reality. If you're ready to explore the eerie, tune in to Obscured Reality, where mysteries come alive.
Almost forgot the volume. Obscured Reality. What's up, Stevie?
At least you remembered to hit record.
Yes, I remembered, but nobody out there would ever know I make mistakes or you, because it just never makes it into the video. Oh, well, we're going to make a mistake tonight. We are going to talk about time travel.
Ooh.
Yes, a person has come out. You guys have seen him. He's been around for a little while now, I think. I had this ready to go a few weeks back. We haven't done it yet, so we'll do it tonight. This guy is a self-proclaimed time traveler. He claims he's from the year 2671, and he has shared several warnings about the worst natural disasters he claims will occur in 2025. He's also shown or shared more video reminding everyone that he told everyone that TikTok was going to be banned. So he's got that going for him, right? It's not really banned yet. But we'll take a look at a couple of his TikTok videos and see. We'll give our opinion first. But he's talking about 2025 here. What this article was.
And he's from 2671.
Yes.
So 600 years in the future. Okay.
Yeah. So he's got over 940,000 followers on TikTok. That doesn't mean he's legit or not.
No.
The person, he goes by the handle Radiant Time Traveler. He's created quite a stir on the platform, despite the fact that many of his forecasted events have, in fact, not happened as he said they would. Now, given that this one is about 2025 and we've been sitting on this for a few weeks now, we might see a thing or two that he's predicted that should have already happened, and we'll take a look. But a lot of what he's forecast has not happened. Maybe that's an indication of how tricky time travel can be and the paradoxes he creates with his revelations. That or he's just full of crap. Either way, he's back with some concerning events he claims are going to happen in 2025. And stick around, because I have something we can go into another time, but I have an interesting theory on time travel, and been thinking about it for a while, and it's not quite time travel as you would think, but
okay.
We'll see. I want an opinion here. So let's start with the first one, March 30th. That, my friends, has already passed. Today, recording April 7th, okay? Monday, April 7th. So March 30th has already passed. A 1 mile wide asteroid is going to hit Central America, causing a 400 mile wide crater that will be named Goliath. Millions of people will be offed, and the southern United States, along with Mexico, will be uninhabitable for years to follow. Now, obviously that has not happened, but what I will say is not much prior to March 30th, we were hearing about a major asteroid that's going to be coming around soon, really close between the moon and Earth. Neil deGrasse Tyson and others have been all over this, and they're talking about, you remember the percentage, of how close it's going to be, the danger factor, the percentage has changed a little bit, and it's looking better now. It's a low percentage. However, it's large and it's coming between the moon and Earth. Could be a potential problem, right? It takes a little something to go off, and I think it's going back out around the sun right now or something, but it'll be here. So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's what he's referring to. Who knows? April 20th. So that is coming up in a week or two.
Yes.
Many of the world's largest volcanoes will erupt due to the sky turning a bright pink color. For some reason, he says this will cause a lot of pressure in Yellowstone, Fuji, and Mauna Loa. resulting in the largest eruptions in known history. I'm curious what a bright pink color in the sky has to do with volcanoes. Could explain a
Mm,
little more. Maybe he just doesn't know. He just knows what he's seeing in his visions. Or, I mean, look, I don't know, man. I mean, he's from 26, 71, 75, whatever. Maybe they have some history books that are ancient to him that have made it through
I
and he can
was
see all
gonna
this.
say, because 600 years in the future, like, we have to think 600 years
Yeah.
past, like, that, we're talking, like, the
600 years.
fucking 14 to 1500s. Like, let's talk about the Renaissance times. Like,
Yeah.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, I will say our way of preserving documents and whatnot are better
Yeah,
now,
right. But
right?
I'm just saying, so
So
much
maybe things could make it.
changes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you name off some of the big volcanoes, you got a better chance of something happening sometime around the time you're saying. I mean, these are major places. We've seen some recent odd activity in some of them. I believe Yellowstone, nothing of concern really, but who knows? Let's jump to July. Thank God this is after the 4th of July because I love the 4th of July. These will be the hottest days in the history of the US. So mark your calendars, guys. July 7th through 13th. It will be known as Heat Week and the average temperature will be 114 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the average, where? Are you saying across the entire country? I
Because,
could see once in a while it getting up to close to that here.
yeah, because,
But
like,
you
in
go 5
Dallas,
miles
we
towards the
literally had
coast,
100 days
you'll
over
never
100
hit that.
degrees.
So where are you talking about?
Like that, because that's
Um,
common. That's so common in, like, half of the US.
yeah. So, because of the severe heat, car tires will melt and massive wildfires will proliferate. Well, yeah, that doesn't really count as a forecast here because we know that is going to happen
It
if the
happens
average temperature is
every year.
114 degrees across the
Yeah.
entire freaking country. You will also get sunburn just from stepping outside into the light. No, you
No,
won't.
you won't.
You have to stay out there for a little bit. You don't get sunburn just from stepping into the sun.
No, you get sunburned from staying too long in the sun without having
Dude,
adequate
yeah.
protection. Like,
I
I
I went to
fried the first week in
yeah.
California.
Yeah, I went to Colorado River once. We went out on a boat. We were there for like a week, and there was one particular day. I mean, we went out a couple days, but it was hotter
Mm.
than hell, midsummer, and out there it's hot as heck. And no shirt on, and of course I stayed out way too long. Of course I didn't have any sunscreen on. After I got home, I peeled 3 separate times from that. I mean, that took some time being out in that blazing heat. Now, if you want to get a sunburn just from stepping outside into 114-degree heat, well, um, that might be an indication of an issue with the ozone layer or just the atmosphere in general,
Yeah.
right? Come on. September 21st, the first ever Category 6 hurricane will hit the southeastern portion uh, of the United States. It will be heavily focused in Florida and Georgia. Again, that's not hard to predict. Wind speeds will reach 400 miles per hour, and the hurricane named. Guess what the name of the hurricane is? It's female. Yes,
Hillary.
you're getting it. Karen. Will stretch over 1,500 miles wide. I'm pretty
That's
sure there's already a
no.
hurricane named Karen that's hit the Americas here.
Also, I kind of would like to point out that
That's
a
hilarious.
1,500-mile wide storm would be damn near the, like,
Be huge.
yeah, the entire, like, length of America, not length, but height of America.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends, right? If it's coming over Florida, Florida's just a long dong that hangs down south of America, right? So you could
Yeah.
easily have a the center of it being closer to the lower tip of the dong and the outskirts of it coming into northern Florida and maybe a few states in. Um, if the main course stays out over the ocean.
I mean,
So
travel path, sure, but for
yeah,
like
it'll be
actual
massive.
size of the storm, I doubt it's going to
Yeah,
be that big from point
yeah.
A to point B. But travel path, sure, over a course of a couple days.
You sound like you're almost falling into his trap here.
No, 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 no. I just a storm that's
You're like, there's no way
150.
it's going to be that big.
Yeah, no, I just because I don't believe what he's saying because he's making this claim like of how it's going to be 1,500 miles wide.
Yeah, that's almost
Can we?
cataclysmic. Like
Yeah,
that's
can
like a
we think
storm on
about how
Mars.
large that actually is for a second? Like
Yeah,
that just
that's
sounds
like
like we're throwing a
that's like
number
a
out
storm
there.
on like Mars or what is it? Is it Jupiter, the one with the
Yes,
big red whatever?
yes.
Like that's you'd be talking about like a the downgrade of the planet for a good amount of time leading up to that, and things just going to hell way before that. Before you're going to get a storm like that,
Mm, mm.
that would be insane. But who knows? I mean, he could be right. Well, let's look at 2024. Let's look at some
Hmm.
past ones. This is short. Well, kind of. Um, his first bizarre claim is that giraffes the size of skyscrapers and other oversized animals will be found in Australia with an image of a monkey along with the text. Okay. He stated that this will happen as soon as next week, September 20th, writing. So this is back 2024. Large versions of 70 different types of animals are found in a hidden part of Australia. This includes 3-foot spiders, 60-foot butterflies, and even giraffes as tall as skyscrapers. Now, I'm pretty sure there's some places where spiders are approaching 3 feet, like Hawaii. I've seen one the size of my hand. I'm 6'5", and this was not a tarantula. It was like your large common house spider uh on steroids, and those steroids did steroids, and those steroids also took steroids prior. Massive, right? um
I officially don't want my feet on the floor anymore. That's just a
yeah, well,
ah.
here's another thing we go to here. Like, the first thing that hits my mind, two different things here. You look at coincidences, right? We've
Mhm.
talked about coincidences before, and I firmly believe coincidences are different for every single scenario. Yes, there's tons of scenarios where, well, here's what I'm referring to. How many coincidences does it take before you think something's odd here, something's off, something's wrong, right?
Mm.
You may have a scenario where it only takes one coincidence and you're like, something's up. You may have another scenario where it may take 10 coincidences, you know, having that many may be normal, but after a certain amount, you're going to hit a point, it's different for everything.
Yeah.
So in this quote, he says 70 different types of animals. 70 is a very exact number,
Yeah.
right? It's not like 73, it's not 69, it's not 42, it's on the dot 70.
I was
And then you get
literally
the
thinking
same
42 and you said it. That's
and then
amazing.
you get the same thing with the butterflies, 60-foot
Yeah.
butterflies. Now I'm sure it's estimation, right? 3-foot spiders, 60-foot butterflies, 70 different types of animals. you know, um, okay,
He likes
whatever.
to go big with his numbers, man.
Yeah, well, it never happened. He followed that up by suggesting on October 23rd, we will learn about our own morality due to an energy emitted from the sun. This guy's name is Eno. I forgot his full name. Eno. Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
He he also takes a look. Oh, I'm sorry. There's another quote from him. The sun lets out a rare and unknown type of energy that allows people to see how they pass. This happens to millions of people every day for about 3 months. Some learn they never pass and have immortality. Ugh, I don't know that I'd want immortality. I would need some guarantees. Also takes a look at the celebrity world and said that on October 25th, a musician will return who we all think is dead. Again, keep in mind this is 2024. A very famous celebrity, quote, comes comes out and reveals he faked his own passing. He was known as a legend and will be the most famous person on Earth when he returns to making music. He's probably referring to Michael, but who the hell knows?
Or
Obviously, it didn't
Elvis.
happen. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, a lot of people do think Elvis is still alive as a pastor.
Yeah, and Michael Jackson. It's funny. Speaking of that, I saw one the other day. It was a TikTok. Someone made a video. There's a dude. I think this was in. It was in Mexico somewhere. It was this Hispanic guy. He was overweight. He was chubby. He wasn't like morbidly obese, but he
Mhm.
was very chubby. He looked just like Michael Jackson, and it was so funny because his face like he's just, if he lost the weight, he'd probably look very, very close. It was so funny. But yeah,
Hmm.
we know that didn't happen. Next, he then ends with two more events, which are the most worrying, as he claims the sun will disappear for a week, and then an alien artifact will be found that lets off a disease with no cure. Nope,
Okay,
has not
so that's
happened.
kind of a cool setup for a sci-fi movie, though. Like, low-key, I would watch that plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been on a sci-fi kick lately, so that actually sounds like a cool movie.
hopefully some of these come true, and hopefully some of these definitely don't.
Hmm.
uh, November 9th, the sun disappears for a week straight, causing the world to go into its first purge, capital P, like the movie. November 12th, an alien artifact found. Obviously, we just said that. So the purge. Um, mm, I mean, this is just a revamp of the alien. An alien artifact is found buried beneath the ice in Antarctica.
I would actually be
Well,
pretty happy with The Purge, not gonna lie.
surprise on Antarctica. I mean, God, it's rumored that there might be pyramids there. It's rumored that all the governments that are down there, even though governments military is not supposed to be down there, they're all hiding mysterious alien crap. It contains a mysterious disease. It spreads quickly through the world. Has no cure. So
Wrong year. That
yeah. So
happened in 2019.
nothing happened. Let's look at some videos real quick of him, and then I'll give you my theory here on time travel and the
Yeah.
possibility or not of
Yeah.
time travel.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pull up the first one here. We got 475% proof I am a time traveler. We're just going to skip through a couple of these, but listen up.
Guys, I'm currently in 1998. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your freaking mind. Completely blow your mind.
A lot of them are like this.
I'm currently in an El Paso, Texas blockbuster, as you could tell by the footage. This is it, guys.
Okay, so big deal. There is probably, you could easily research this on Google, man. There's probably a building somewhere that someone's put a shit ton of money into to put to buy and put these things in, right? Like tons of videos from an old blockbuster. They probably have an old blockbuster sign up on the,
I mean,
above the
nothing.
door
I
and you
didn't see
walk in.
anything that said Blockbuster in that video.
You know
It-
what I'm saying?
yeah, but
Blockbuster. You pick Video Giant. I don't give a shit. The point is, any
There's
of
still
those old
video
video
stores.
stores, right? I mean, there's probably a place that does that. Same with this Taco Bell. Let's see what he says.
Guys, I am in 1994. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your freaking mind. This is absolute proof that I'm a time traveler. You cannot deny this. It's impossible. This is it, guys. I'm currently in Taco Bell 1994. Guys, I am here. I am in 1994.
There's probably a Taco Bell around that kept the original stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I don't know. Dairy Queen, we're not going to go into that one. There was one down here I wanted to show, if I can even find it. So here's one from 2020. Oh, allegedly. Let's see. Major events come in early 2024. Lost City of Atlantis was discovered. We know that didn't happen. The Mer people. Yeah. Whoever looks at the purple sky, it's going to be purple, dark shade of purple for 2 minutes. You're going to go
Okay.
blind for
Jesus
weeks.
fucking.
Go.
Dude, look.
Interesting.
All right.
Almost done here. Craziest years in history, but he's here to help you. I don't know that he's made any claims of helping yet. So that's just a couple of his videos. Yeah. I mean, it even looks like, because some people are taking this seriously, right? And that's why, it's obscure. I
These
personally,
people shouldn't
obviously,
breed.
I don't believe this guy, but when you look at how he does the videos, you just watch him talk and how he talks. I mean, it looks to me like it's fairly clear. He's just trying to be entertaining, you know? I mean,
Yeah, he
that's what
started
you
off
do.
both videos the same way.
Yeah.
The editing effect that he threw in there was very fucking irritating.
Yeah.
He doesn't let you see what like anything at all. Like, oh,
Yeah, you
ooh,
wanna see him walking in front of that Taco Bell. You wanna see him holding the phone out here with the Taco Bell
I
behind
want to
him
see
when
the
the video
actual
starts.
like
You know?
people like with their 1998 get up on in the fucking Blockbuster. Like, there is still a Blockbuster out there, like one
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
People fucking go to it like a
Yep.
pilgrimage. Like,
So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, none of that came true. It's not
yeah,
gonna come true, guys.
no.
Honestly, you could go on, do some research, and go on the internet, do some research. You could find some really good data sets if you look historically for like, I don't know, 100 years, the last 100 years, and you could probably find some very good data sets that would let you make a bunch of future predictions, some of which would most likely come sort of true. Um, portions of them may around the same time frames, and it's just cyclical stuff. I mean,
Everybody wants to be a Notre Dame.
or a Nostradamus.
Whatever, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'd love to be him.
Nostradamus. I am sorry, I put the emphasis on the wrong letter.
If I were alive back then, I might want to be him. But let's talk about time travel. I have a theory. I've been
Okay.
thinking of time travel, and you know, I think a lot of the way a lot of people look at time travel. Not that all of us believe in time travel, but when we all think of time travel, we think of Back to the Future, the movie, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about that, what happens? Well, in Back to the Future, he goes back in time, he makes a change, and he does something differently, and it affects all of the future.
Correct.
And he comes back in time, and I think in one of the clips you even see once he comes back to the future, you see like the last bit of that change going into effect, like right then. And if any version of time travel is real, that's impossible. Because if you think about it, for him to be able to go back, do one thing a little different or affect something so that it makes change going forward, well, all of those people, the entire planet, the entire galaxy, the entire universe would have to live its full life out until he gets back to the future. So you're saying basically when he leaves the future to go back in time, everything would basically have to just pause, except for who's ever in that time travel vehicle. And then you go back and it's unpaused back then. This is a stupid way of thinking of it, right? And then you make those changes. That whole sequence of time between the future and where he went back in time would have to play out again. Now, you assume when he travels back to the future, it's fast forwarding, okay? Boom, and he gets back, and there it is. But it's just impossible. Here's a good way of thinking about time travel for me, I think that if time travel, and again, this wouldn't even be real time travel. It would be what we would see now. We might see it as time travel, but ultimately, I don't think it would be. Let's start thinking about a computer. Okay. Now, this will probably go into like a multiverse or simulation theory. Okay. That we're
Mhm.
living in a simulation.
Yeah.
So think about this. Uh, we're talking along the lines of computers. Okay. Uh, More specifically, a NAS drive, an NAS drive, network attached storage. So we know a NAS drive is a bay of hard drives, external hard drives you attach to your computer. I have one. There's two main purposes. One is mass storage. Number two, probably the bigger purpose, is redundancy. So mine, for instance, is a 4 bay. So it has four good external hard drives. So basically, how I would want that set up is everything I do is on the first two drives. The other two drives are complete exact copies of the first two. That way, if a drive fails at any point, I already have it on the other two drives. I can go toss that drive, buy a new one, and redo those two. We're good to go, right?
Mhm.
Think of like a 10 bay NAS drive, okay? Has 10 hard drives. Now let's talk about time travel. We're going to list each hard drive 1, 2, 3, all the way through 10, okay? Because it's 10 bays, it's 10 hard drives. So think about this. Our life, the galaxy, the universe, all of everything in existence from the beginning of time, whatever the hell that even is on drive one, okay? So whenever everything started, it started on drive one and it's been playing itself out all the way through up until now, April 7th, 2025, right?
Mhm.
Now I want to go back in time. You want to go back in time. You want to go back to when you were 10 years old, whatever. You want to go back to 1970, right? So how how do we do that? Would it be possible to go back and make a change and have that affect your current life? Because you got to remember, nobody else, everyone else has lived, including you, have lived out your lives up until today in 2025, right?
Mhm.
So it'd be probably impossible to go back and make a change and come back and have that changed. Why? Because that would have affected everyone's lives, but they've already lived out their lives. There's no way they're going to redo them. You're talking about a mass event of basically rewinding everything. That's just not a thing, man. That's not real. But if our timeline, our current, the real timeline is playing out on drive one, you want to go back to say March 1st, 1970 at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, exact on the dot. You set your little device for that date and that time, the exact time. And here is an idea which probably goes along with simulation. The second you hit that button that says, "Take me back, Scotty," an exact copy of timeline one, so hard drive one, from the beginning of time up until 1970, where you want to go back to in time, an entire copy is made, and within a couple seconds, that's placed onto hard drive number two.
All
You're
right.
going to hard drive number two, not necessarily back in time, but you're just going to hard drive two at 1970.
And starting a new save file.
Now you go back and they haven't not lived out their lives past 1970. The entire universe has only gotten up to 1970. And now you do whatever you're going to do, which ultimately won't matter because you're going to come back to your current day. Those changes aren't going to take effect because you can't change what's already been done in your current timeline. So you do it there. And those people live out their lives and things happen and whatever. Now you could maybe go back at any time and go back, live out another 10 years of your life in timeline one and then go, well, I wonder how life was different in timeline two after I went back. And you can go back, a few years and see what happened. Um, what's changed in your life or whoever's lives. But that's kind of the way I see it. And then each time you want to go back, you can go back to timeline one. Well, you can't actually go back onto it, but you make a copy and it goes somewhere else, goes onto another drive, another hard drive, right? But ultimately, there's only one purpose for that I can see. And there's a good point I heard this guy talking about today as far as time travel, and this has to do with something else. Um, but this has to do with the current day phenomena of UAPs and the possibilities that are associated with that, regardless of what it is. And he is leaning more towards, if what we're seeing is real, if it's true, he thinks that it is most likely us from the future coming back. And he talks about exactly what I just said, saying, you're not going to be able to affect the timeline, right? This is already written in that this is going to happen. I mean, whatever that means, however that means, it's hard to think about. But it's kind of the same scenario. You're never going to be able to go back to timeline one. It's a write only drive. You can only write on it, and that's it. But what you can do is cut out a portion of it, place it on another drive, and go to where you want there, and then that'll continue playing out, and so on and so forth. The only point to doing that is to go back to learn things, right? So we couldn't go back to when the pyramids were allegedly being built and make a change and say, well, I don't even know what kind of change you'd make, but you can't just go back and make some change and now that whole thing changes and you come back and the pyramids aren't there, or there's 10 of them or something. That would have to happen on another timeline. But you would go back to learn about things you don't know. For us, we'd make that copy, it'd go on drive 2, and we'd be seeing what actually happened. How the hell were those pyramids really built? Was there actually something under those pyramids? Was it just so long ago that maybe there really is an entire city underneath, not living today, but buried, and it's just they've been there for so long, the dirt and the dust, the sand and everything's blowing around, and it's finally just covered everything up, and the pyramids are the top layer, but they weren't even on the ground. Maybe there were structures holding them up high in the sky, right? You'd be going back in time to see those things, to learn about these things, to knock off all these BS rumors and stuff, but that's all you'd be doing. You wouldn't be able to affect change into your own future. Now, you could stay there and look at how it plays out. And you probably wouldn't want to do that for too long, at least.
No.
But your elapsed time that you're gone is going to be the same. So you go back 30 years and you're there for 24 hours exactly, and you come back, you can only come back to 24 hours in the future from when you left, because that same amount of time is still going to elapse here. While I'm gone 30 years ago for 24 hours, you're still going to be sitting here, and you'll come in here tonight and be like, okay, I'm waiting for him. He says he's going to be back and we're going to record. He's going to tell everyone on OR what happened. And I'll walk in and be like, I just got back 5 minutes ago. The same amount of time is going to elapse. Time travel's not real as we think of it. There's no way. I don't believe. Doesn't mean it's not possible. I don't know, right? But that's how I see it playing out. And it's interesting because it totally plays along with the whole simulation thing, and possibly what you might
multiverse theory,
multi-dimension, multiverse. Those hard drives, that storage, each separate one is a separate universe. Dude, people have been questioning that for a long time, thinking there might be multiple universes, different planes of existence. That might be a possibility, but it's not real time travel as we think of it. When you think Back to the Future, you're not really going back in time to make change, and then you get back to your normal current day that you left from, and things change.
Right.
I would be shocked if that was possible, and I'm skeptical, right? I'm open-minded. Maybe it's true. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's just interesting. Since we're talking about time travel, I got a theory. There's the theory. You like it, you like it. You don't, I don't really care. It's my theory. I want to hear yours, though. Do you have a theory on time travel? Do you think time travel, Stevie, is in any way, whether it's real time travel as we think about it, or it's something like I said, or maybe something else.
I
You think any
really
form of
feel like
possible?
time travel, if and when it ever does exist, would be more along the lines of like Doctor Who. Where it's going to be very, very far in the future. Very, very few people are going to be able to manage like that type of technology because it's going to be so insanely restricted. And we're going to need people like the Doctor who go throughout history and like take on people who also have access to the technology or have figured it out and are trying to fuck up history. And that particular group of people need to like go throughout time and like stop it and be like, no, let history play out the way it was. Like,
You're looking for the drama version.
no, I just like I think I like the idea of Doctor Who's like idea. Yeah, like, it's a technology that only certain people can have, and of course there's going to be bootlegged versions of it, so of course it's going to be they're going to
Well,
find a way of governing it.
you like it, but Doctor Who version, which I know nothing about, but ultimately real time travel, whether it's
Yeah.
time travel as we see it, like Back to the Future or Doctor Who, or some other version like mine or
Yeah,
something else. What do you think the plausibility? Do you have any uh, opinions on it?
I just
Do you
don't
think
think.
time travel is possible? Not at all.
No.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. I think.
uh
Yeah, I think if there's even any remote chance, I think it's along the lines of something I said or something else that might, on the face, on the surface, look like time travel, but it's really not.
I feel like maybe Einstein had something going on with his black hole theory, but honestly, like even if that was a portal to another dimension, another time, obviously if we have ever explored it as humans, w- there's no guarantee what's on the other side of that. So, we might have been sucked into another dimension with no way of getting back. We might have been sucked into another time period, lost in space. You never know. You never know. Future humans may attempt to, like, try that theory and then ultimately fail massively.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this guy I was listening to today, I think
I
he's
just don't think
he's
it
some
is.
form of scientist. I don't know, but he's a brain. He's thought about it, and what he was saying was in a small percentage similar to what I was saying, in
Mm,
that he's like, you can't go back in time as you think of it and create a paradox, change something and now
mm.
everything's changed. You get back. It doesn't work like that.
Butterfly
And
effect.
he's talking about, this in reference to the current UAP UFO situation that's been happening at least since 2017 and longer. Because people are seeing things. I've seen it myself. I firmly believe something's happening. What that something is, I don't know. I'm not saying it's alien. I'm not jumping to any conclusions. I don't have a clue. But point is, something's happening, and he's trying to figure it out. And one of the things he also mentioned, which makes sense, this you've had that what's the term for it? Deja vu.
Hmm.
I've had some theories on deja vu. I mean,
I do too.
what he was saying, his version of this would also explain why you have deja vu. And if you think about the example I just gave you on my theory on time travel that's not real time travel, that's almost like deja vu. If you're on timeline one, the real timeline, you're never going to have deja vu. But if you go back in time, you're now making this copy, you're forcing this copy to be made from beginning of time to 1970. That's put on hard drive too. Now, all these people live out their lives. A lot of them are going to have deja vu. We've all had it, right?
Yeah.
Um, that
I've
could
always
explain
yelled
it,
that
you
I
know?
hate this timeline. I don't know when this timeline changed. Like, I've been saying that a lot lately. And so to say that and to go with your theory, it almost matches up. Like, I don't like this timeline. Like, when
Just
did this change?
saying.
But
Well,
deja vu.
timeline meaning
I know, I know,
the
I know,
real first version of us,
I
not
know.
a copy.
I mean, I've always thought of deja vu as something like in a form of almost remembering, like, I want to say a past life.
So yeah, deja vu. I mean, like I said, we've all had it, and you know what's really interesting. Like I've mentioned on here before, I'm not going to go into them tonight, but I've mentioned two what you might call synchronicities with other people. Someone that's completely unrelated to me, but a really good friend, as well as an actual relative, and one of those you could say coincidence, probably. The other one, you might still be able to say coincidence. However, there was nothing connecting the two events, and they were right around the same time frame. And there was nothing technological that, and what
Mhm.
I'm referencing is, yeah, I'll just go through. I'll just go through it real quick. We'll make it really quick. Has to do with a relative, some people we lived by, where we grew up, and one day about 6 years ago, I was like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to our next door neighbors, right? And I was never really friends with them. We knew them. My relative was friends with their daughters, and that was it. They're older than me, um, but temporarily friends, just like while they lived there for a
Mhm.
little bit. And they didn't really hang out much. So now, about 6 years ago, I'm like, yeah, I wonder what they're up to, and I've done the same thing. We've all done. I go on Facebook and I type in one of the two daughters' names. Okay, I'm looking her up. I'm like, oh, this is what she looks like now. Like she was never anything to brag about back then, and
Mhm.
nothing now, right? That's just opinion. Anyways, so I take a snapshot of her photo and I send it to my relative. I'm like, hey, any idea who this is? I shit you not. I've never got a text back or call from this person that quick in my entire life of using a cell phone. I got a text really quick, said, can I call you? And I'm like, okay, sure. Call. He goes, why did you send that to me? I'm like, oh, I was just thinking of them. I was wondering what they're up to. Look them up. He goes, I literally, that just happened the other day. It was either that person reached out to him on Facebook, or he did the same thing. He was looking them up. Now,
That's crazy.
yeah, it was really, really weird. And actually, yeah, I don't remember. There were some things about it, but it was like, what are the chances? Now that one's technological, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
looking them on Facebook, but the thing is, it's not technological because it just came to my mind. It was a thought in my mind. Hey, I'll look them up, right? I wasn't looking at Facebook, and you know how you get the friend suggestions that says, "Oh, people you may know," and you'll see people pop up with last names that you know. They're probably relatives of people you know or used to know, and it's because you have their email in your phone or their phone number in your phone book, right? Well, that's not what happened. He looked her up a day before. I wasn't on Facebook. I was just sitting there watching TV or something, and
Yeah.
the thought came in my head. So you can't equate the two.
Mhm.
So, we've all had deja vu, and the separate timelines, because time travel that's not really time travel, you're now forcing a copy to be made,
Yeah.
could account for deja vu.
See, I've always
So, no.
accounted deja vu as to like almost like a past life type thing, where like you're in a place where you're
Well,
like, I feel like I've been here before, or you're just way too familiar and you have that
yeah, so
deja vu
yeah.
feeling. I've always just accounted it to like a past life
So get
almost.
this. Get this. I've thought about this one a lot over the years. Another uh, you know, idea of a possibility of maybe where deja vu comes from. So we live, we die, right?
Hmm.
What happens when you die? People bury you,
Hmm.
you get cremated, things like that. Now, I think this example, if this was even possible to be true, I think it would have to happen with burial, not cremation. But think about this: you get buried in the ground. Um, your This is all going to be dependent on the type of geez, casket you're buried in. If it's just a crappy wood casket,
Yeah.
that's not going to last as long
Yeah.
as a casket made out of stone or concrete or plastic or something else. They're all going to be different. But over the years, tens and tens of years, hundreds of years, 200s of years, whatever you go, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, that all breaks down. You go back into the earth, plants, all the shit grow. And we know the plants grow, trees grow, bees move around, they get pollen, other insects do, and they spread and they blah, blah, blah. Who's to say that even the smallest piece, the smallest fraction of DNA or anything from you got into something else that was living? It's part of them. It's up. And um, if that gets into a future human, that could explain possible deja vu.
That
'Cause it
is
doesn't,
actually
because think about
kind
it.
of poetic. I
Think
love
about it. When
that.
you walk around, you don't have deja vu on everything you see. It's
Right.
random places at random times.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's places you have never, ever been. You know? I'm just
Blood
saying
memory.
these things happen. We cannot explain
Huh.
them. We know they're odd. It just depends where your mind goes with it. Don't jump to conclusions, but these things are odd. Why do I have deja vu in a place I've never been?
Hmm.
Why? You know? I don't know. Just it's an interesting idea. They're fun to think about and kind of back engineer them like time travel and go, okay, what could be a real form of time travel that would actually be real? That's how I came up with that idea.
Mhm.
Because it's got to make sense as far as maybe it's not realistic at all, but you got to have everything be able to add up. And being able to go back into the future, make a small change, and come back to your current normal life in your current timeline and see the effects of those changes, that's impossible. So you got to look at them and go, what could be possible if it was even real, right?
Mhm.
And you can think about these things. It's kind of fun because there are anomalies. There are phenomena that happen that we cannot explain. Some of them are happening right now. It's just a matter of what they are. So, any more thoughts, comments, time travel, or this guy, Radiant, whatever the hell his name was, Radiant?
I don't know.
something.
You bombarded me with his name, thinking that you were sending me freaking links to this, but
Radiant Time Traveler
there we
was his
go.
channel.
I think he's full of the worst lunch meat ever,
I
baloney.
think he's just doing it for entertainment. I don't,
Yeah,
eh,
I mean, it's TikTok. Everything on it is for entertainment these days.
yeah.
Like, that's the
I don't think he's
thing.
trying to make a true claim that it's real. He's probably just throwing the stuff in the fan and seeing where it sticks on the wall.
I mean,
And
I could be like,
that's
oh,
all.
here's proof I'm a time traveler. Goes into Walmart and fucking shows you a short video of some of the clothes that are in there. Yeah, because the fucking style of the 90s is back. I could be like, oh, look, I'm in 1992. Yeah, because the shit I
Yeah.
fucking wore in middle school is popular again. Like, I could make a video like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm sure there's some stores around, some places like think of like a small mall where they probably
Small
have
rural
replicas.
town where they
They
don't.
probably have replicas of these old, what you might consider vintage. I don't know.
Yes.
Places from back
Or
then, like an old Taco Bell, an old Del Taco, an old
Or
Blockbuster,
it
Video
could just
Giant.
be an old town and they never fucking got the update
Well,
for their shit
I
because
mean, look at North Korea. They do it in a sense. The full facades of a whole street of stores
yes,
just
to look like
in
they have
case one of
food
us travels out there to make you think it's all pretty and nice and perfect life out there, and we know it's horrible for those people.
is wild. That's
It's the same
wild to me.
thing. So
Building full cities to
no,
make it look like they have a population on the border of the
yeah,
zone. Yeah,
DMZ,
there we go. The DMZ.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Well, right there, obscuredr1@gmail.com. If you have a story of your own, time travel story or theories about time travel, shoot us an email. Type story in the subject line. We will tell your story for you on here anonymously or not if you want. If you want to be on the show, let us know in the email and you can come on. Super simple for you. And you can tell your own story anonymously again if you want. Like, share, subscribe, blah, de, blah, de, blah, all that stuff. And with that, I'm going to go time travel my butt
To bed.
to an
Be sure to check back
airplane in
with
the
us often for
sky.
new episodes.
Peace.
Feel free to drop a comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.